favourable. Kendra's just making her final preparations, waiting for the all go from the judges. Yeah, Nikolai Primarov was saying that the ice is just soft enough. And there goes Kendra Stritch. Taking it pretty steady to start.
Yeah, she was telling me earlier that she wasn't feeling very good, so I think she's going to take it a little bit easy just to start out with, to play it safe and hopefully do a bit faster later on.
But you can see in the nature of the ice, it's very much like regular ice climbing. Lots of bulges and mushrooms, lots of different icicles and shapes. And this left part of the left route is almost like a ramp that you climb up at the end.
Yeah, and that's very smart. You see that a lot of the more experienced climbers won't be climbing just straight up. They won't be taking the shortest path.
You follow the line of least resistance.
Exactly.
Took the words right out of your mouth there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Means I can put chocolate in it.
So that's Kendra's first time, which finished at 30 seconds and 52. If you want to see live results, we do have the ability to see those online. If you go to the website results.theuiaa.org, you'll be able to see live results updated by our main man, Alex Pound. He's our results scorer. Next lady on the wall will be Nayagi of Japan. Kendra Stritch will move across to the right-hand route. And a word on the format, Ian. Normally, or not normally, but sometimes we can see fastest time counts, and sometimes we can see combined times, whereas here we're seeing combined times.
Yeah. Well, the different events have different facilities. Like in Italy, we only have one tower that we climb on. Here, there's two routes, so it's dual. And that's why we have those combined times, because we have climbers that in the final we'll be seeing people climb head to head, and that's where the duel comes in.
And so we can see Nayagi climbing again quite steadily on the middle part of the route. Kendra Stritch is on the right hand side of the route. She's just topped out in 36.13. Nayagi just trying to make her way onto that ramp side, and this is the part where you can go direct, which is hard, or you can take a step up left, kind of rock over onto the left foot and run up the ramp. Here we go, this is the ramp. Just looking for purchase with those ice tools.
Oh, it's frustrating too when your feet slip or something happens where it just slows you down, gets you out of rhythm.
Just struggling to get purchase there, kicking in by the looks of it.
She's still fighting though, so gotta respect that. Making it up to the top here. And reach in for the clock. There we go.
Can't quite see the clock there actually. But the live results, as I said, will be on the website, results.theuiaa.org. So after Nayagi and Kendra Stritch, we should now have Nadia Galyamova. Nayagi will move right. Nadia Galyamova will be on the left-hand side. There you are, Nadia in the orange top.
Yeah, the Nadia will be pretty quick, I think. The Russians are very good at climbing both lead and speed, and they have a lot of experience with natural ice, with kind of the farmed ice, and with the ice blocks. So I think this will be a quick time. Here we go. We can see
Nadia moving really quickly at this initial phase. That really running up the ice.
Yeah, you can. She's doing very smooth movements.
Much more natural technique on those initial sections, and she's already up on the ramp. Quick up off the ramp, pulls up on the right, leans away off the left, slaps that timer. Very quick time there of 21.75. We were seeing some of the guys do it in about 12 seconds, so I'm expected to see faster times from the ladies. Nevertheless, not a bad start. Our fastest time so far.
Yeah, I suspect we'll still see some faster times later on. This being still one of the initial rounds, I don't think climbers will be going all out. They'll be kind of conserving energy and playing it safe, climbing fast enough to go into the next round, but not so quick that they miss an opportunity or they mess up and fall or injure themselves.
Man in the red and black jacket there is Naksu Kim. He's one of our officials from South Korea. Walking up and getting prepared was my dining buddy from yesterday. Oh, there's Nayagi, still going on the right-hand route. She's at 1 minute 14 seconds so far. Very challenging, and I actually had a chat with Annie Bertling before, the Finnish climber who will be competing shortly. And I said to her, what did she think of the ice? And it was funny, Ian, because she said she would much prefer to climb this ice with ice screws and normal tools.
Yeah, you know, we came in, all of the competitors were here for the opening ceremonies, and as soon as we came around the corner and saw the ice, a lot of people were either pointing up at the walls or pointing at the ice and saying, oh, I wish we could climb.
And we're totally surrounded by cliffs as well, and for any rock climbers out there, there is rock climbing here, and one of the walls in particular, behind the lead wall, looks absolutely fantastic. Beautiful roofs and cracks. But back to the ice climbing, Nayagi, just up the final pillar of the right-hand route. Should we call it Route 2?
Yes.
Or final pillar of Route 2. See how we did that? Seamless. Just looking for the good placements. And she's climbing it in a more traditional style, but she's going to find that hard with her speed tools.
Yeah, speed tools are created to hook, not so much chop or swing into. So they're gonna, and they don't really weigh that much either. So you don't really have a good swing. So it makes it more difficult.
So she tops that in 1:39.95. There's Marion Thomas. Marion was my dining buddy yesterday, as I mentioned, in the Chinese food challenge, which you saw right at the beginning of the broadcast. Very brave, I have to say. She chewed on that chicken's foot.
Yeah, I saw her scaring you with it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, there was a lot cut out of that, shall we say. This is her first World Cup as well, Ian, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so watching her climb yesterday.
She qualified for semi-finals.
I know, she was very, very strong, very fluid.
All the French athletes looking on good form, although not all of them made semis. Only Marion and Luna, I think, made semi-finals.
Yeah, I need to look at the results again. Oh, come on. There we see Nadia just run up the right side there.
Nadia Galyamova's flying, but eyes on Marion Thomas.
And she is moving pretty good, too.
She's moving really well, especially considering that, in inverted commas, she's not a speed climber. She's moving very quickly, very fluidly. Nadia Galyamova's topped in 18 seconds 35.
And that's a pretty quick time.
Marion
as
in
well.
28.71. Not bad at all. So with that time of 21.75, 18.35, Nadia Galyamova goes into first place with a total time of 40 seconds. There's Nadia there. Good start for Marion. If she can get a fast second time, she'll be doing pretty well.
Yeah, she looks pretty pleased with that.
And so she should be. Currently in third place, Nayagi sits with a 3 minutes 42 time. I'm going to anticipate that that's going to mean she's somewhere down near the bottom of the pack, unfortunately for her.
Well, you know, someone has to, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. But great effort. She didn't fall. She climbed well.
Yeah, she's ahead of everyone that didn't come.
Exactly. Not a bad effort at all. So now on the left-hand side, we see Olga Kazak. We were supposed to have Coco Jarry, according to the start list, but it looks like Coco's pulled out since she made semi-finals later today, so she'll be resting for that. Meanwhile, Olga Kossak and Marion Thomas moving at a fairly similar pace. Olga on the left of the routes, looking fairly solid, blowing a left hook there, but not too bad. Marion just struggling with her foot in.
It looks pretty tight right now.
Yeah. Of course, they're not racing, despite the fact they're head-to-head. There isn't a race. It's the fastest combined time. Nevertheless, the competitors will be looking to beat the other one, just for posterity.
Yeah. Well, and I actually like racing against someone, even though the initial times, like you said, don't really... It's not a race right then.
Marion's made up ground and makes the top very quickly at the second route there.
Come on, Olga.
39.82.
There we go.
Olga Kossak tops in 44.14. Not the fastest for Olga, but maybe she can pick up some time on the second route.
Yeah, that wasn't the fastest I've seen her climb. She always tells me that, oh, she's not a speed climber. She just does it for fun. But
she can climb pretty fast.
She's pretty good.
So next out, as Olga Kossak moves right, we'll see Mariam Filipova, Russian climber. Mariam, along with all the Russians, is very, very strong. She qualified for semi-finals later today. Of course, the lead semi-finals will be live Broadcast, I believe, from 4:45 local time. So if you are watching from around the world, subtract or add on your relevant hours. 4:45 p.m. local time will be the lead broadcast. On the left-hand side, Marion Filipova moving very well. Really good pace. You can hear the Russian team shouting "Davai, Davai" and cheering her on in the background. She's up onto the ramp. Reaches off that left hand to slap the timer. And Marion Filipova finishes in a very decent time, 23:50.
And there we see Olga coming up to the last seat part.
Olga Kazak still climbing. Oh, and just falling off the top there. I think she got the timer. It doesn't. I can't tell. The timer's still going as far as I can see. It might be that she didn't slap the timer there. Hard to make out. Great effort nonetheless from Olga Kazak. We'll know how that scored imminently. Up next will be the fastest woman in the world as of last year, Maria Tolokonina. Of course, Masha last year took the overall speed and lead titles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, she's not a very bad lead climber either.
No. Only she won every event. I was about to say she only didn't win one event. That's not very good English. She won every event apart from one. Displayed excellent form. Had a bit of a blip in Durango. Finished 8th after a low fall on the finals route. Let's see what Mariam Filipova on the right and Maria Tolokonina makes of this first route on the left. Waiting for the judges' start. Athletes are allowed one full start each. We've not had a full start situation yet. You can see the red light flashing in the ice. That's to show that the pad's weighted.
Ready? Attention.
And off they go. Mariam Filipova taking big strides on the right-hand side. Maria Tolokonina, the shorter of the two athletes, opting for slower, smaller movements, but quick feet, and she's moving quickly, and she's gaining on Mariam Filipova. Climbs up the left-hand side. She's up onto the ramp. Mariam Filipova slower on the right. Maria Tolokonina tops in 19:21 with the fastest time in the qualifiers so far. Sorry, I'm corrected. Nadia Galyamova has the fastest time of Route 2, but on Route 1, Maria Tolokonina has the fastest time. 21 seconds. Great effort. Want to watch, Ian?
Yeah, definitely. Maria Tolokonina is definitely one to watch in both events. She was climbing very well yesterday, and we'll be seeing her again later tonight.
And of course, there on your screens is Zoreh Abdolakhani of Iran. Zoreh trains out in South Korea. I was chatting to her before, actually. She was telling me how she's not very confident about the speed event because whilst training in Korea, they only train lead.
Yeah, I was actually talking to some of the Koreans and our favorite Irish woman,
Emer McSwiggan,
about that, because the Koreans have a pretty impressive structure in Cheongsong with an ice wall for speed, and she was telling me that they never train speed.
Never train speed. They focus on the lead, and that's reflected by the number of athletes represented in the speed comp. 0. Eyes on the race. Maria Tolokonina on the right-hand side, absolutely chipping up route number 2. Cruising up the right-hand side, falls a little bit there, loses her footing, but makes it up straight away, launches over with the right hand, and finishes that in 19:26. That's behind Nadia Galyamova's fastest time, but the combined time puts her a second and a half in front and in first place of the 16. There's Enni Bertling of Finland. No ice screws to be seen.
Yeah, she was telling me earlier when they were warming up that she was really nervous because, according to her, she's a very, very slow climber.
Wow.
But she looks like she's been doing pretty well so far. So
and she qualified for semi-finals later on as well.
Yeah.
She tops in 50.04. Not bad at all. Not the slowest time.
Yeah, the Finns actually climb quite a bit of ice. So they just got into the mixed climbing last year, I believe, and they're doing well.
They're not doing badly at all. Following Enni Bertling will be Russian climber Katia Koshiva, 21-year-old climber. Very, very talented indeed. And in fact, last year, Katia Koshiva finished second overall, taking a bronze medal in Cheongsong, a silver medal in Rabenstein, and a gold medal in Saas-Fei. Let's see what she brings to the table here in Beijing. Red top on the left-hand side for Katia Koshiva, and she's moving really well on those lower parts of the route. Great pace, great coordination, long reaches with the arms, driving pushes with the legs, up onto the ramp. She opts for a more direct approach, tops it, 15.19 seconds. That must be the fastest time so far, by 4 seconds.
Yeah. You know, we said earlier that taking that ramp up to the left was maybe a safer approach, quicker. But apparently if you move fast up through that direct, then you pull off several seconds.
And like I said, Maria Telekonina won 3 of the 4 competitions last year. The only person to beat her was Katia Koshiva. So maybe we could be watching another upset for Maria Telekonina.
Yeah, definitely one of the contenders for today.
Annie Bertling there, lowering down after a second attempt. She finished that one in 45.63 seconds. Not a bad effort at all. Now, this is a Katarina Fistova, another Russian climber, but she's based out of Switzerland, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
And I bumped into Katia at the airport, and I said, "How are you feeling?" And she had a one-word reply for me, Ian. She said, "Fast." So, let's see what Miss Fistova has got in the tank. Koshiva on the right-hand side with the record of the first route so far, moving very quickly in the lower part. Fistova opting for a very methodical approach.
Yeah, she's very smooth.
Very smooth. Koshiva flying up that right-hand side, sprinting up there, hits the pad. 16:48. That's another record for the ladies. Brilliant effort. Meanwhile, Fistova going for the safe approach, 27:20. I think she can go a lot faster than that.
Oh, I know she can go a lot faster than that. I think she's just taking it easy, playing it safe.
She needs to come in the top 8 to go through. How much of this would you say is tactics?
I think some of the very fast climbers, like some of these Russian women that we're seeing, are playing more of a tactic game than some of the other climbers. You know, when I was climbing speed last year, it was just happy to make it, happy to climb.
And a
so
lot
for
of the
me,
athletes climb just for the extra climbing. They pay a lot of money to be here.
So it really just depends on the athlete.
Well, with Katarina Fistova, she finished that with 27:20. She needs to climb the next route.
Yeah, she needs
really
to be
quickly.
She needs to be quicker on the next route
to be certain of an 8th place, or rather a top 8 place. Next up, and on your screens, is Chen Zhuoying, one of the many Chinese athletes here. 3 of them competing in the speed comp. Fistova moving much quicker on this right-hand side. Stumbling a little bit there. A little bit of a flinch on the left ice tool, but looking much better. Stuck again. She's going to have to make something happen here for this final part of the route. Finishes it in 24:48. That's pretty quick.
We'll have to see what the other competitors do, but that might just be at the cusp.
24:48 is going to put her into 5th position as it stands, ahead of Marion Thomas. But we'll have to see what that looks like on the full table once our final climbers have been. We do have 2 more Chinese athletes, an Iranian athlete, and then allegedly a French athlete. I don't think anybody in there will trouble Katarina Fistova. I think she's had a lucky...
I think she's somewhat safe.
Yeah, I think she's had a lucky position in terms of being drawn to come out. What number did she come out? 11th, with all those climbers after her. The 4 climbers after her, all not being renowned as being the fastest. She knows that she can play it safe to be in the top 8.
And we can see still one of the Chinese climbers here at the top. They haven't been the fastest climbers, but it has been great to see new competitors in the field and just giving a lot of effort, and just
Full
it is
credit
great.
to the Chinese team. You know, they've really got behind the competition. They've got many, many athletes here, a lot of youth athletes here as well, just watching and cheering. It's a promising future for the Chinese athletes, I think, if they can really harbour that talent and grow the talent. We don't see them at many competitions, but maybe we could see them at more in the future.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see them in the Olympics. Yeah, anyone?
Of course. Well, perhaps you could say a few words about the Olympics. Fritz Ryland mentioned it in his opening speech.
Yeah, well, ice climbing currently is not part of the Olympic Games.
Winter Olympic Games.
Winter Olympic Games,
Yeah.
sorry. Sport climbing just became part of the Olympic Games.
Part
We'll
of
be able to
Tokyo
see that in
2020.
Tokyo. And so hopefully that will help us out with getting ice climbing into the Olympics here in Beijing in 2022, which would be incredible. And we can see there are a lot of people who are working very, very hard to make that possible.
So now it's a bit of a Chinese duel. Zhuoma Pubu will be climbing against Chen Zhuoying. Chen Zhuoying getting off to a quicker start on
Yeah,
number
she's
two.
looking pretty good on number 2.
Just struggling to kick in. Oh, careful with that tool. Ian, you know better than anyone. Those things are sharp.
Very, very sharp.
We already had one stabbing today.
Yeah, but it looked like it was okay.
Chinese athlete pierced his own leg.
Yeah, I saw him holding a bloody napkin towards his leg. And I asked him if he was okay, and he goes, no, it's fine, it's fine. So, you know, we've got some tough climbers out
I
here.
believe he spent some time in New Zealand, so he probably said, no worries. We are live, of course, on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. If you are joining us, thank you so much, and a very warm welcome from a very chilly Beijing. You can get in touch with us using those platforms on hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. Include that hashtag in your message, and we'll do our best to keep tabs on those feeds. Of course, there are some issues with using those channels, but if we can communicate with you, we will communicate with you. Zhuoma Pubu on the left-hand side, working hard to make the top of this route. She's currently just over a minute on the clock.
And just one last swing, and there we go.
I'm not exactly sure whether that was a 3-minute time or a 1-minute time. The timing that they're using doesn't work. It works well in seconds, but not in minutes. So the official result will be refreshed shortly, and I'll be able to tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that the red light going on means that they're weighting a plate. We start by standing on a metal plate that's connected to the timer, and then you see the climbers hitting their tools against something at the top, and that's to stop the clock. But as a backup, the judges do have stopwatches. So if it's, comes down to it, something's wrong with the clock, there is a backup to make it more accurate.
Brian Hansen's tweeted us, Ian. Familiar name?
It seems familiar. I may have heard it once or twice.
Brian, of course, is Ian's dad. He was with us in Durango. Hello, Brian. He says, can I build that ice here?
I would love it if you did.
Canadian climbing users tweeted us. They are supporting the broadcast. And of course, we are broadcasting live on Twitter. So don't forget you can get in touch using that hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. Chinese athletes again. Zhuoma Pubu on the right-hand side. This time, Jiran Wang on the left-hand side.
And you can see they have matching clothes almost. That's because they have gotten amazing support from the Chinese community, both with gear sponsors, they have one of the best facilities I've seen. We're staying at this kind of Chinese mountaineering camp.
It's the Chinese mountain school. That's what it is.
When I heard that's what it was, I was thinking, what I've seen in Europe, what I've seen in Canada, that kind of stuff, just like a little lodge. But this is like plush hotel.
It's an Olympic standard facility,
it's
you could
definitely
say.
Olympic standards.
It's a stunning,
incredible.
stunning piece of work. The guy's just taking the time on the top part of the route.
They're not the fastest times we're seeing, but we can see a lot of very good technique here, a lot of more traditional ice climbing technique. And so we can see that these are some pretty good climbers. And if a traditional climber was trying to climb these routes that we're seeing here, I have no doubts that they would be climbing it much slower than some of these quote-unquote slower climbers are
For
doing.
sure. I mean, calling them slow does them an injustice, really, because they
It
are
really
moving
does.
pretty quickly.
You know, you go to UIAA, Colorado, which has similar structure here, and people aren't racing up as fast as these climbers are.
Zishan Nawaz Khan has got in touch and retweeted our messages, so big shout out to Zishan. Hello. Of course, it's very late in the western part of the world, so if you are tuned in, it's great to have you on board. And there, of course, Jiran Wang finishing her first attempt. You can leave your comments on YouTube as well. If you're watching on YouTube, on the right hand side of your screen there should be a comments box. Post those, ask us questions, say hello, whatever it is that you fancy. Jiran Wang just getting unclipped from that speed rope. 18 years old Jiran. She'll be followed by Zoreh Abdollakhani, 33-year-old Iranian climber, who, as we said before, trains in South Korea.
Yeah, I was talking to Emer about her yesterday, and she was telling me that not only is she a good ice climber, but she is very smart as well. She goes to one of the top schools in Seoul.
Wow.
So, you know, very
She studies
impressive.
sports marketing, I believe.
You know, I didn't actually ask, so I'm not good at asking questions. You're the professional
I'm
there.
the talker.
Yeah.
Lots of people getting involved in the live chat with the Russian-speaking countries. Great to have all of our Russian-speaking countries. Do you know any Russian, Ian?
Only a little bit.
Can you say hello to our Russian fans?
Yeah. Здравствуйте.
Zdravствуйте to all of the Russians that are watching.
Or привет. easier.
Privyet, it's great to have you on board. We're always grateful for all of the international community tuning in. Lots of Russian people getting in touch and commenting. We also have some Arabic people. Navid Abdul... sorry, I'll try that again. Sorry, Navid. Navid Abdulvand. We'll say Ahlan to Navid. Welcome to the broadcast. It's great to have everyone on board. Jiran Wang still climbing on that right-hand side. Of course, all the people that are getting in touch, thank you, but I don't understand what you're saying. My Russian reading is terrible. It's worse than my Arabic reading, and that's pretty appalling. Ian McLeod's got in touch to say, wow, so fast. Yes, they are indeed very fast. Thank you so much to everyone that has contacted us. You could say that Maria Tolokanina is the Usain Bolt of ice climbing, although I'm not sure many of you will see the likeness.
Yeah. I like to say that Usain Bolt is the Maria Tolkanina of running.
There you go. Love that. Oh, and a fall there for Jiran Wang.
Yeah, you see a lot of what appear to be falls or slips or, you know, something along those lines. And it doesn't actually count as a fall if you catch yourself.
Yes.
If you weight the rope, that is when it's called a fall.
Navid Abdulvand is an Iranian. Well, Navid, thank you so much for tuning in from Iran. I don't speak Persian, so I can't say hello in Persian, but thank you for tuning in. We also have Henry, who's tuned in and watched. He's saying hello as well. Great to have so many people tuning in. Okay, here's Olga Kazak climbing on her own. I wonder if there was a technical issue, so she's allowed to reclimb her route.
Yeah, because we didn't see a time for her second route, and I
Correct.
didn't see her fall, so it must have been some type of technical.
I remember. Do you remember what happened? The timer carried on running after she'd hit the top.
Exactly.
I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's allowed to climb again because of a technical incident.
Sounds like they're having a little bit of trouble.
Attention.
We've got people tuning in from Kirov. We've got people tuning in all over the world, and it's wonderful to have you on board. Don't forget, you can get in touch on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and don't forget to use the hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. Olga Kozak moving very calculated. Olga needs to finish this attempt in quick maths less than 40 seconds. to be in with a chance of qualifying. She's currently at 31 seconds with not very far to go. She could make it here. Big leap from Olga. She needs it. There you go.
There we go.
39.30.
Oh.
That's cutting it fine, but I believe
Let's see how good your math is.
that should be right. She started with 44 seconds, plus 15 puts her at 1 minute. Plus another 15
just
puts her at
pushing Innie
1:15.
out.
There you go. So Olga Kazak qualifies. Good maths from Liam. Liam wasn't my strong point. Maths wasn't my strong point, but very pleased to have got that one right. So your fastest 8 athletes: in 8th place, Olga Kazak of Poland; 7th place, Kendra Strych of the USA; 6th place, Marion Thomas of France; 5th place, Katarina Fistova of Russia; 4th place, Mariam Filipova of Russia; 3rd place, Nadia Galyamova of Russia; 2nd place, Maria Tolokonina of Russia; and 1st place, Katerina Koshiva. Where's she from, Ian?
Russia.
Correct. Obviously, the Russians dominating as per usual. They are without doubt the best speed climbers in the world, and those will be your top 8.